Well, hello, tubers. I hope you're doing well wherever you are in this digital universe we call YouTube. Now, today I'm going to talk about the advantages of being a Canadian, or a Canadian nomad, or just being Canadian, because I have been asked by a few people over the years, why don't I just become American because I spent so much time in the United States of America? Or I like to call it the excited states of America, because there's always exciting things going on there in terms of funny politics and interesting things that are amusing to the rest of the world that we like to watch on TV. So America can be accused of only one thing, I think, that's a fair comment, and that's you guys are very interesting. And being interesting is good, I think, So that's not a negative slight at all. But I will tell you this, that the entitlements that Canadians get is the primary reason that many people want to be Canadian. And in fact, I have many Canadian/American friends who are giving up their American citizenship because they don't want to deal with Uncle Sam. They live in Canada, their children are Canadian, their wives are Canadian, and they don't want to deal with Uncle Sam, and they don't need to file American income tax reports anymore or any of that stuff, so they're actually lining up to renounce their citizenship. It's an interesting topic, but we're not going to get into that, but I just figured I'd mention that as a sidebar. But primarily the main reason that I like to be Canadian is the entitlements of which I have contributed to as a taxpayer. And there's a lot of things you won't realize that I have an advantage over my American friends. First of all, if I'm at a casino in the United States, say with one of my American friends, let's pick RV Crazy, for example, because I've been in casinos with RV Crazy, and we both win a jackpot of $10,000. Here's the difference that I'm treated as a Canadian. You win 10 grand, immediately 30% is taken off for federal taxes and maybe a bit more for state taxes depending on where your residency is. The same happens to me, but I get all the money back because of a tax treaty with Canada. So the difference is right there. I walk into a casino with an American friend, win 10 grand. 3 grand is lost from him. 3 grand is not lost from me. I walk away with everything. After I file my taxes, due to the tax treaty code, I get all the money back. That's a great thing. That also applies to all your lotteries. I could win megabucks, and all the taxes that I actually would be deducted from the winning, I get every cent back. I think that's worth something. Especially, it's nice to be treated differently in America based on your own laws. So I think that's a small but interesting advantage. The second thing is, when you get older, healthcare is very important. Let's face it, we don't think about that when we're younger. Free healthcare, we all know about it, great. But it doesn't just stop at that. Most Canadians actually have to pay for medication. If you have a prescription drug insurance plan like I do, it covers 80%, but I still got to pay 20%. But here's the good news. Even if you didn't have a plan, prescription drugs are cheaper in Canada than they are in the United States. Big advantage. That's why a lot of people fill their prescriptions in Canada or Mexico, because they're cheaper. Just makes sense to me to take advantage of it. Now, getting down to the actual cash value of things you get when you turn a little bit older. I know in the United States you have Social Security, which is like a payroll tax, and you collect it later in life. We have the same thing. It's called the Canada Pension Plan. It works on a very similar principle, but we have something beyond that. It's called Old Age Security Pension, and you don't even have to work to get it. You turn 65, as long as you've been living in Canada for 10 years, you get an extra $550 a month until you die. $550 a month for free money. Great, great, great. Sign me up. I want it. I've paid in. Well, actually, I didn't pay in. I just was a citizen, because you actually don't have to pay into the system. You just have to be here to get it. So I think that's a wonderful perk. You can actually get more money by delaying that till 70, and you can actually delay this by 5 years and get $750 a month if you collect it at age 70. But it gets even better. If you retire and you don't have much money, on top of all these other perks, you get a guaranteed income supplement. They give you even more money. What a wonderful idea. More free money when you retire. Wow. I love Canada. Now, most Canadians live within a 3-hour drive of the American border anyways, so we can still take advantage of crossing the border to get all those free consumer goods, because we all know that gasoline, cigarettes, alcohol, and many other consumer items are more expensive here in Canada and cheaper in the United States. So we do this. We take advantage of the geography of the whole entire situation. And when it comes to traveling into the United States, all Canadians do not require a visa to go there. We're the only country in the world that's like that. In fact, we get an automatic B2 visa the moment we cross the border, and we can spend up to 182 days a year there. There's a complicated formula that actually reduces that, but I'm not going to get into it. But for the sake of the discussion, 182 days a year, and you can do anything that an American can do, with a few exceptions. You can't work. You can't run for office. Big deal. You can still even own property in the United States. Nobody cares. So I think I addressed why I will always be a Canadian, and we all have the same rights. In fact, in Canada, we have a very strange phenomenon where we allowed convicted criminals to own firearms. Yes, we do. You may not believe it. We don't let them own handguns, but they can own as many rifles as they want if you're a convicted criminal, as long as it has nothing to do with violence. So we're pretty liberal in some regards about gun ownership. There's a lot of strange paradoxes about being Canadian, and there are some advantages. Now, of course, there's a few people around the world that see all these advantages on the websites, and they go, I want to be Canadian because I want free money. And we have a little bit of that going on, because some people even fake their age when they actually immigrate to Canada so they can start collecting some of these perks earlier in life. It's a strange but true phenomenon that maybe somebody's got to deal with one day, but that's just something I've observed. But in the meantime, folks, what do you think about the advantages of being Canadian? I don't think it's that bad. There are worse countries to be a citizen of that gives you far, far less. And there's a lot of countries in the world. So anyway, make your comments down below, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Take care of yourselves and each other.